My niece didn't just want to visit. She moved in temporarily after my husband's funeral, then filed paperwork claiming she was my caretaker and deserved legal ownership of my home for the emotional labor of keeping me company. A garden teaches you that some things need firm boundaries to thrive. I'd spent decades tending my roses, never realizing I'd need to build a fence against my own blood. The invasion was slow, like ivy choking a tree. First, it was just a suitcase. Just for a few weeks, Aunt Iris, until you're back on your feet. Then her ring lights and cameras appeared. My quiet living room became a backdrop for her authentic living vlogs. Aunt Iris, you have to be practical, Harper said, not looking up from her phone where she was editing a video of herself comforting me. Who's going to take care of you? This house is a lot for someone your age. My being here is saving you. Saving me from what? I asked, my voice trembling as I looked at the legal document she'd placed before me. From yourself, she said, finally meeting my eyes with a cold, calculated stare. From being alone. From losing this place. I'm doing you a favor. The least you can do is make it official. I felt like a ghost in my own kitchen. Her lights, her cameras, her clutter were everywhere. At the Historical Society Garden Club meeting, Mr. Henderson found me crying by the heirloom roses my husband had planted. He listened, his face growing stony. She's filed what? He marched me to his office and pulled up the property records on his ancient computer. Look, he said, pointing at the screen. Life estate. Right here. Your husband was a smart man. She can't sell this house from under you, Iris. She can't even legally evict you. He printed the document. This isn't a family dispute. This is a crime. Our counterattack was a quiet siege. While I played the confused, grateful aunt, Mr. Henderson helped me install a small camera in the living room. We captured hours of footage, Harper ignoring me, staging, caretaking scenes for her followers, and complaining to her friends on the phone about waiting out the old bat. Mr. Henderson filed a police report for elder fraud and helped me serve Harper an eviction notice. When the notice arrived, Harper's mask shattered. You think you can just kick me out? She hissed, her phone already in hand. I have 500,000 followers. I'll tell them you're a racist, hoarding lunatic. I have pictures of your messy shed. I have clips of you complaining about noise. I'll make sure everyone in this town spits on you in the street. Sign the house over, or I'll destroy what's left of your life. The threat of the digital mob chilled me. But Mr. Henderson simply nodded. It's time to tell your story, Iris. Your way. We created Iris's Garden, a simple social media page. Our first post was the unedited footage of Harper presenting the fraudulent documents. Our second was a video tour of my spotless home and thriving garden. This is my sanctuary, I said calmly to the camera. Not a backdrop. My niece tried to steal it. Here is the truth. The internet erupted, but not as Harper had planned. Her sponsors dropped her. Her followers uncovered more of her lies. The community rallied around me with casseroles and support. The final victory was swift. Harper was evicted by sheriff's deputies, her departure filmed by neighbors and shared online. She faced criminal charges for fraud. I changed my will, leaving my home to the Historical Society, and started teaching workshops on protecting against predatory family. She thought my quiet life was a blank screen for her lies. But she learned that even the gentlest flower has deep roots and strong thorns. My home is my sanctuary again, its boundaries stronger than ever, fertilized by the truth. The quiet that returned to my house was different this time. It wasn't the lonely silence of grief, but a deep, earned peace. Harper was gone, her criminal case grinding slowly through the system. But the digital world she'd unleashed still pulsed with echoes of our battle. Your story's not over, Iris, Mr. Henderson said one afternoon, watching me deadhead the roses. It's just entered the public domain. He was right. Iris's Garden had taken on a life of its own. Messages poured in from across the country, other seniors facing similar helpful relatives, adult children worried about their parents being targeted. An idea began to bloom, nurtured by Mr. Henderson's quiet encouragement. We turned my workshop at the Historical Society into a proper nonprofit, the Sanctuary Project. We paired tech-savvy volunteers with seniors to help them secure their digital lives and understand their property rights. I became the gentle, stubborn face of the cause, my story a cautionary tale that empowered others. One Tuesday, a new message appeared in the Iris's Garden inbox. It was from Harper. I lost everything. The sponsors, my apartment, my friends. I'm staying in a motel outside the city, taking online classes in accounting. I'm sorry doesn't cover it. I was awful. I just wanted you to know I'm trying to be better. I didn't write back. But I didn't delete it either. I filed it away, like a pressed flower in a book, a reminder of what was, but no longer had the power to hurt me. The final twist came from an unexpected seed. A young documentary filmmaker contacted us, wanting to tell the story of the Sanctuary Project. When the film aired, it featured not only my story, but Harper's fall from grace as a stark warning. The week it premiered, a check arrived in the nonprofit's mail. For $5,000. The memo line read, "A first installment, H." Mr. Henderson framed it and hung it in our tiny office, right beside our mission statement. A thorny gesture, he remarked, but a gesture nonetheless. Life settled into a new, richer pattern. My days were filled with the purposeful work of the project, my evenings with the quiet companionship of Mr. Henderson, who had become the steady presence my late husband would have approved of. The house was no longer just a sanctuary for me, but a headquarters for protecting the sanctuaries of others. Harper's betrayal had been a harsh pruning. It had cut away trust and innocence, leaving raw, painful wounds. But from those wounds, something stronger had grown, a resilience that sheltered not just me, but an entire community. She had tried to use my home as a backdrop for a lie. In the end, she had provided the foundation for a profound and lasting truth. The garden was thriving, more beautiful and protected than ever, and I was finally at peace in its quiet, sturdy shade. The Sanctuary Project grew, its roots spreading through the community in ways I'd never imagined. We weren't just preventing fraud, we were rebuilding a sense of trust that had been crumbling for years. Local businesses offered free security system installations for our clients. A retired lawyer volunteered to review property documents. The neighborhood watch now included digital patrols for suspicious social media activity targeting seniors. Mr. Henderson became the strategic mind behind our operations, while I remained the public face, the gentle florist who'd stood her ground. Our partnership deepened into something wordless and essential, forged in the fire of Harper's betrayal. Then the letter came. Not an email this time, but heavy stationery from a state university. Harper had completed her accounting degree with honors. Enclosed was a photocopy of her diploma and a brief, formal note. "You taught me that numbers should reflect truth, not fantasy. Thank you for the lesson. H." This time, I showed it to Mr. Henderson. "What do you think?" I asked. He studied it carefully. The paper's genuine. The registrar's office confirmed her graduation. He gave me one of his rare, full smiles. "It appears some weeds can be rehabilitated." I wrote back, just 3 words on a plain card, "Proud of you." Months passed. The documentary about the Sanctuary Project won a small award, bringing more attention to our cause. Donations increased, allowing us to hire a part-time social media manager, a sensible woman in her 50s who understood both technology and boundaries. One crisp autumn morning, I found a pot of exquisite white orchids on the project's doorstep. The card read, "For new beginnings. Your accountant, H." Mr. Henderson raised an eyebrow when he saw them. "A peace offering?" "More than that," I said, touching the delicate petals. "It's a translation. She's speaking my language now." The final healing came unexpectedly. A major home improvement chain approached us, wanting to partner on creating safe haven kits, simple packages with security cameras, document safes, and guides to property rights. They needed someone to consult on the project. I knew exactly who to recommend. Harper's transformation was complete when she walked into our office, not as an influencer, but as a serious young professional in a simple blazer. She didn't try to hug me. She simply nodded, her eyes clear and direct. "Thank you for the recommendation, Aunt Iris." "The numbers spoke for themselves," I said. And for the first time in years, I saw my niece's genuine smile. We never became what we were before. That relationship had been pruned away, and what grew back was different, stronger, more honest, with clear boundaries like well-tended garden beds. She visited on holidays, always bringing flowers, and we talked about business and her new life. Mr. Henderson and I still have our Saturday mornings in the garden. The roses are more magnificent than ever, their roots deep, their thorns sharp, their beauty a testament to survival. Harper's betrayal had been the harsh winter that forced everything dormant, but spring had come. The garden was thriving, the sanctuary project was flourishing, and I had found peace in the rich, complicated soil of a life fully lived. Some storms don't destroy, they prune. And what grows back is often more resilient and beautiful than what came before. The final chapter of my story opened on a perfect spring morning. The Sanctuary Project had just secured its first major corporate partnership, thanks to Harper's sharp, honest work. Mr. Henderson and I sat on the porch, watching bees dance among the blossoms in the garden we had protected together. "It's complete, isn't it?" he said, his voice soft with certainty. I looked at him, at the garden, at the quiet, sturdy house that had weathered so many storms. "No," I replied, smiling. "It's simply well tended." The betrayals were in the past, their sharp edges smoothed by time and purpose. The anger had composted into something richer, a deep, abiding peace. Harper had found her truth in numbers, I had found mine in the soil, and Mr. Henderson had been the steady hand guiding us both. Some stories end with revenge, others with reconciliation. Mine ended with a garden in full bloom, a heart full of quiet contentment, and the unshakable knowledge that the most beautiful growth often comes after the hardest pruning. The work was done. The peace was earned. And it was enough. The morning after our conversation, I found Mr. Henderson waiting on my porch with 2 cups of coffee and a small, carefully wrapped package. "For the archivist," he said, his eyes twinkling. Inside was a beautiful leather-bound journal. The first page was already inscribed in his precise handwriting, the continuing history of a well-tended life. "That's quite a presumption," I said, my throat unexpectedly tight. "The best gardens always have a next season, Iris," he replied gently. "And every good historian knows the most important records are the ones we're about to make." He was right, of course. The Sanctuary Project's success had created its own new challenges, managing growth, training new volunteers, navigating the complexities that come with making a difference. But as I looked at the blank pages, I realized these weren't burdens, they were new plantings. That afternoon, Harper arrived for our weekly project meeting, her arms full of spreadsheets and her face alight with purpose. "The Safe Haven kits are shipping next month," she announced. "And 3 more corporations have reached out about partnerships." We sat at my kitchen table, the former influencer, the retired historian, and the florist who had learned to build fences. The late afternoon sun streamed through the window, catching the dust motes dancing above our paperwork. We were no longer just repairing damage. We were building something that would outlast us all. Mr. Henderson caught my eye across the table and gave a slight nod toward the garden, where the first evening blooms were beginning to open. The story wasn't ending. It was simply deepening its roots, ready for whatever seasons lay ahead. And for the first time since the whole ordeal began, that thought didn't frighten me at all. It felt like coming home.